Powell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm sure that others have already emphasized this point, but I want to reiterate how important VAWA is working with victims, their families, dealing with the impact of violence in their lives, providing the resources necessary for law enforcement, education, educating communities, preventing crimes. I come from a family of women. I'm the youngest of 4 sisters. We have about 15 women in my family between nieces and sisters and parents, mothers. And I think that most women can actually attest to always being in that fine line of having relationships where if the line is crossed, you can be in an extremely dangerous situation. So that is why VAWA, reauthorizing VAWA is critical. Between 2013 and 2015, the Department of Justice estimates that VAWA programs provided over 1 million services to victims across the nation. In Florida alone, nearly 16,000 individuals received emergency shelter at a domestic violence center, and just last year, and nearly 40,000 men, women, and children received outreach services relating to domestic violence. Thanks to the 2013 reauthorization, VAWA has advocated for victims in the LGBTQ community and made efforts to help Native Americans and on their tribal reservations. I would like to start from looking at some of the past testimony. I wanted to start asking this question from Ms. Valente. Does the NTF have concerns about Title IX being undermined by the Department of Education?
Yes, and again, I am not the expert on this particular issue, but we have been closely watching. We have submitted comments on this. All of our member organizations have. The Obama administration's guidance on Title IX was very, very helpful and really made a sea change. We're concerned about a successful series of protocols and guidances being undermined or undone. And so we do want to see those protections maintained.
And are your concerns connected to the attempts to weaken the protections and civil rights for campus violence survivors?
That is a large portion of our concern. A lot of what goes on is it's important for universities to take a very strong and powerful stance against these crimes, and to also make it clear to folks that these crimes are occurring when they do, that they report them appropriately, that they respond, that they change their protocols. We want to see that continue. We don't want to go back to the days where no one did report these crimes on campus because there was no good outcome other than the victim possibly being expelled or having to leave, not expelled, but having to leave the campus because no supports were being given.
And do you think it's critical for us to include in the resources that we allocate for some of these educational programs to be directed specifically to on-campus sexual assault education programs?
We have programs that will do that work, and fully authorizing healthy amounts for these programs in VAWA are going to really have an impact on that. We have requests that we've put in for those numbers, and again, we have experts behind me. I worry about committing malpractice at times because this is not my particular, I don't have the numbers right before me, but I do know that we have asked for support for these programs, that we need more work being done in that arena.
Thank you, Ms. Valente. And a quick question to Judge Gonzalez. Thank you for being here. Can you talk about a little bit how VAWA has helped your work with law enforcement on cases involving domestic violence, sexual assault, dating violence, and stalking?
Okay. I have had the opportunity, because of the funding from VAWA, to be in a room with law enforcement and judges from all over the country, where we come together and we learn from each other about what it is that needs to happen in order for both of us to hear what the other one is saying, so that we're talking in the same language, so that victims understand that we are we all understand our parts, right? But we're working together to make the community safer and to make them safer. We are not enemies in this fight. We are compatriots, and I think it works Without that funding, I think it's a little harder to do that job.
Thank you, Judge. I yield back my time.